Mark, what's been happening there now? Are you near the area, near the Manchester Arena at the moment?
Judy, directly behind me you can see the actual building, the Manchester Arena, which is the centre of the regeneration of Manchester that's taken place over the past 15 years to create what is possibly one of the most vibrant cities in the United Kingdom. But of course this morning the mood is anything but. There is immense sadness here. People walking by say hello, as people always do in this place. Manchester's a very friendly city, the people, a very special breed. But there's a real sadness behind the smile. There's a real sadness in the eyes of people today, realising that 22 people came to a concert here last night, packed with young people, some 20,000 capacity, the Manchester Arena behind us, 20,000 people to see Ariana Grande perform, a performer who's very popular with young people in particular, and predominantly young people are in the audience, and the Chief of Police here today confirming that children are among those who lost their lives. So 22 dead, some 60 injured. We don't know the extent of their injuries. We can only imagine that these statistics will change, and perhaps there will be more loss of life as the days and hours go by. The investigation is continuing, of course. Police have been sifting through the area behind me throughout the morning. The roads remain closed off. There is heightened security across the entire Manchester area, in fact across the whole of UK, because in London right now there is a special meeting chaired by the Prime Minister Theresa May, looking into the security situation. It's called the Cobra meeting. This is taking place with all the intelligence services there at the same time to try to get some kind of a handle on what happened at the Manchester Arena last night, when one man, it appears, went in at the end of the performance. When the doors had opened for people to exit, he chose his turn to then enter and carry out the atrocity.
Mark, there were many people there who suffered physical trauma. We're talking about dozens who were hurt last night, in addition to those 22 people killed. I imagine there will be a lot of psychological trauma for these very young people, some of them as young as 5 years old, who were there at that concert last night. Has anything been set up for them at this point?
There is a crisis unit which has been set up. The extent of that at this point, I can't tell you. But there will be, as normally happens in these kind of situations, the sort of psychological help that is on hand that will be made available. I suppose the question comes, given that mental health is an area which is uniquely underfunded, it seems, whether there will ever be enough to cope with those who need to have that kind of counselling, that kind of treatment, because, as you rightly point out, when someone so young witnesses something so horrible, it leaves a very lasting scar on their personality, in their mind, and it can shape their life for years and years to come. They can continue being a victim of what they've seen in this horrible incident for the rest of their lives. So clearly this is something that the authorities need to take on board, and the families, of course, of those children will need all the help they can to help them cope.
Mark, people were being told to stay away from that venue area where that attack took place. Is the area still deserted? Have people come out to try and see what happened? Are they paying tribute anywhere, laying flowers?
This is a place where people pass by, people on their way to work. People have been passing by all the time. It's very busy either way you look. People are always going around, cars coming past now. But the area's been sealed off, basically. So in terms of people laying tributes at the scene, that hasn't happened yet. Maybe that will happen in the days to come. But certainly the feeling is that people want to know what's happened, but they know what's happened. And you see that in their faces when they say, is there any news? They know what the news is. They know the news is bad. And they know that 22 people have been killed, and among those children. And that's something that Manchester is really trying to come to terms with, I think. And the people that I've spoken to, it's clear from what they're saying that this is something that will live in their hearts and their souls for a very long time, for generations.
All right, Mark, thanks so much for that. France 24's Mark Owen there reporting from just outside the Manchester Arena where that attack took place last night.